Well, we're the Hollands, and my name is Jana, and I play with my husband Craig. And occasionally, when we do family-friendly venues, our children, Graciana, who's 13, and our son, Banjo, who's 9, join us. We've been together as long as we've been married, which is 10 years, but we have performed together for probably the last 3 years, and officially became the band, the Hollands, in February of last year, 2009. So we're newer as a band, but we've been the Hollands for 10 years. So it's just a natural expression of where we've come from.
Can you tell us a little bit about your growing up years, who your mentors were?
Yeah. I've moved quite a few times myself. I call myself a Midwestern gypsy girl. I'm a PK, which for those who don't know is a preacher's kid.
Oh.
And my dad is now a counselor, marriage and family therapist. But we moved quite a bit, and that had definitely a significant impact in my life in terms of being able to assimilate and assess different cultures and different experiences and feel comfortable, or learning to feel comfortable in them. And so I love to travel. I love to just meet as many new people as I can and enjoy that moment of time with them. My grandmother probably was the most significant mentor or influence in my life. That's my mother's mother. Her name was Grace Erkovich, and she worked for the City Rescue Mission in Muskegon, Michigan. And when I was a little girl, I would go with her to the mission, and I have memories of her and her quilting circle, quilting bee, working on the quilts, and I have memories of her singing with me at the nursing homes. I have memories of getting really big bags of clothing from the donations and being so excited to look through them and see what I could create, and putting my fashion statement together. She would give me those. Yeah, she had this really simple, quiet faith. She wasn't a big theologian, or she didn't have big debates about things. She just knew that she was loved by God, and so then she loved back. And that was it. It was really, and I remember going to her when I was going through high school and college and really trying to figure things out, and why this person over here believes this or this person over here believes that. And I remember going to her with a specific topic that was newer on my radar in terms of some of the doctrinal debates out there. And she just looked at me and she said, "You know what? None of that's going to matter in the end. You just need to make sure that you really are loving and that you're accepting that love." And so, I don't know, that's sort of become a major premise in my life. My mother, in terms of music, was a professional musician and was involved in doing a lot of background tracks in Nashville for a fella named David Clydesdale and an organization called Singspiration. So I had a little bit of influence there, but I didn't really soak it all in. It kind of intimidated me and made me nervous. I didn't feel like I fit in very well. But as I walked through life, my journey brought me back to music, and those memories are actually positive now. Like, they actually have significance in the sense that, oh, I've been in the studio before. I remember this, So those are sort of my main influences, probably. Yeah.
Let's see. What has helped you go spiritual?
Pain.
Yeah.
Pain. I really can't stand pain. I'm a bit of a pleasure seeker, so anytime there's any kind of pain, my tendency in the past has been to immediately run as far away as I can. I have learned in, I guess, the maturing process, getting older, that if I face that pain head on and actually move into it, that I come out stronger. And the turn in terms of running or moving into came when I guess I had a overwhelming sense of trust, that I could actually trust my maker. And so when my maker says, you are going to walk through the fire, but I promise you're not going to get burned, well, I can believe that now because I've actually experienced that. So that's probably what's been the catalyst behind my faith, and is trust. And trusting comes when you go through pain and you come out protected.
Okay. Let's see. Do you write and sing songs? Do you write your own music, or?
Yeah, we do. Music originally for me came as a therapeutic tool. When I had a major transformation in my life when I was 26. I was in a really self-centered, pleasure-seeking, in a real selfish way. And just a really dark place in life, kind of a user mentality place. Not very fruitful in terms of the harmony of mankind and helping others. But I found myself with my daughter Graciana, and just had some major paradigm shifts in my mind. I guess the whole renewing of the mind, that's where that happened. And just began to cling to the ancient words that God's given us, and allowing those words to kind of find their way into my consciousness so that they became how I thought. And but the process was a long process, and it involved a lot of therapy and a lot of healing of some really tough things that happened when I was a child. And so part of that process was I journaled, and I found in my journaling that I had this desire to also get something out in a more demonstrative way. And so I had purchased a guitar and just learned a couple chords, and at first I began to just kind of use the chords. I was very attracted to minor chords, which you'll hear a lot of that in my music, kind of that sort of Eastern European minor tones. But I just would hammer on A minor and E minor, and then I would just groan. I didn't know how to write words yet, but I would just, it was just really healing. And then I'm not sure how it happened, but I had all of a sudden this innate ability to take a scenario and condense it down into 3 verses and a chorus, a complete thought. Whereas to write that thought out in prose or in a long paper, it just rambled and there was no cohesive thought. But for some reason I could just bring it right down. And I began to just put my simple chords that I had learned together with the lyrics, And then I just started sharing them with family.
Mm.
And they encouraged me, oh, these are common to mankind, like they're things people can relate to,
Mm-hmm.
but they're profound in how you're saying them, so they'll actually impact others, so maybe you should share them more. And I was like, well, I don't, you go through all that. I'm not really a musician. And so that journey kind of went for quite a while, and it kept coming out of me.
Oh,
Yeah, the process is a little different now because I've worked through a lot of junk, and so my perspective is changing from internal to external, and so I'm just starting now to write songs about other situations around me,
Yeah.
Like I love writers who can write historical fiction, or not fiction, historical lyrics, where they tell like the story of the Gettysburg Address, or different battles or what. I love those, but I just have no idea how to write those songs. They're great, but yeah. So
how did you learn to play the mandolin? No, it's not easy.
Well, I'm the kind of person that if you give me something, I'm going to use it. And so maybe it's arrogant, I don't know, but I just have this mindset that I can do anything. And so I wouldn't say I know how to play the mandolin, but I'll play it. I'll make music with it. Yeah. So you give me anything and I'm going to write a song with it.
Okay.
And it's the same with the banjo. We were given the banjo by a friend of Craig's, and originally I wanted him to play it, and I couldn't help myself. I picked it up, and I don't even know what I'm playing, but I found a couple chords and I was like, oh, I like this, and so I wrote a couple songs. Yeah.